So Pat Spencer just dropped almost 20 points in the NBA last week. But the crazy part is that this dude was dominating D1 lacrosse just a few years ago. And on top of that, he balances all of this with a 9-to-5 and being involved in a successful startup. So absolutely full glaze here, but this just shows a pattern of how successful people operate, and no one's really talking about it. So today I'm going to show you why this is actually a big indicator of success and how you can use this in your own life. So we've been told our entire lives to specialize, to find one thing and master it. And yeah, that advice sounds good and all, but when you actually look at the people who are winning in life, they're not just good at one thing, they're absolute dogs in multiple things. If we take Pat Spencer, for example, he was one of the best to ever do it in lacrosse. But even still, after he graduated, he walked onto Northwestern's basketball team, which kind of sounds absurd, and people probably thought he was crazy. But after playing overseas and in the G League, he eventually got a two-way contract with the Warriors. And if you fast forward to now, he's a starter, and on top of that, he's clearly doing bigger things behind the scenes too, with his job and the startup he's involved in. So that's three completely different worlds, and he's winning in all of them. So what's actually going on here? Because it isn't just luck, there's a pattern. So there's this old saying that goes, "Jack of all trades, master of none." But people always forget the rest of the quote, which is, "but oftentimes better than a master of none." And that's really the key here. When you start to develop skills in multiple areas, they begin compounding. For example, the discipline you build from being an athlete carries over to financial decisions. And the grind from one thing makes you even better when you start something else. And it's not even about the specific skills themselves. It's about what those skills build inside of you. No diddy. When you get really good at anything, you're not just learning that one thing, you're learning all the skills that come with it. If we take sports, you're learning how to show up when you don't feel like it, you're learning how to perform under pressure, how to compete, how to adapt, and so many other skills that you don't see. And those traits can transfer to everything else you do. The same grit that makes you wake up early for training is the same grit that makes you research financial freedom. And the same discipline that keeps you consistent in the gym is the same discipline that keeps you consistent with content or whatever other skill you're learning. You're essentially building yourself up for the things you do in the future. But here's where it gets even better, because when you're multidimensional, you're literally increasing your odds of success. If you think about it, when you're only good at one thing, you're banking on that one thing working out. But if you're developing multiple skills at the same time, you're increasing the chances that at least one of them takes off and becomes something big, or you're just increasing the potential of what you could do with all your skills combined. And if you think about it, there's millions of people trying to make it in any field. Millions are trying to be creators, studying in college, or trying to become athletes, and many of them may fail or just be very mid at that one thing they're focusing on. But when you're working on multiple things, you're increasing your odds and you're creating more opportunities for success. So how do you actually use this in your life? Simply starting to build skills in areas that already interest you can take you a long way. For example, if you're into fitness but also want to learn video editing or any other content skills, just keep working out, but start implementing those skills into your day-to-day, and you can even combine both of them if you're up for it. Another way is simply just doing hard things. Every time you end up sticking with something when it gets hard, you're building grit and persistence that can be used for literally anything. But the most important part is that you actually have to start doing multiple things. You can't just think about them, you can't just watch videos about them, but you have to actually go and develop your skills. Because if you just sit here watching self-improvement content with no action, you watched all those videos for no point. So here's what you could do. Look at your life right now and figure out how you can add on to whatever your main thing is right now. Right now, for me, I'm working on getting my engineering degree, and that's clearly the main part of my life. But with my consistent Instagram Reels attendance, I knew I could easily be doing a lot better. So instead of just being a regular college student that works out a little, I decided to start a fitness TikTok, and now I'm building this YouTube channel. All while still just being a regular college student with school clubs and friends that also take up time. And I'm not just saying this to flex, but I'm saying this because if I could stack multiple things while still being an average dude in college, then so can pretty much anyone. So instead of using those couple extra hours a day scrolling, try to actually improve certain aspects of your life by picking up new things. Because successful people don't put all their eggs in one basket. They're busy building themselves up in multiple areas. Anyways, drop a comment telling me what skills you're going to start developing or if you've already been doing this. But see you next video.